Strange look from Dave. Check 1, 2. What's up? Okay. Here at the Ramapo Roadrunners Invitational, I mean the D3Hoops.com Classic, as Ramapo had just completed its 4th consecutive year here. We're joined with Chuck McBreen, the head coach of the Roadrunners. And first of all, yeah, I think it's great that you guys are here every year. Thanks for coming back to the Classic.
We want to thank you for having us every year. We really appreciate it. We love this tournament out here, and we're going to come as much as possible. I think next year we're going to go to Puerto Rico for one, but then the next following year we'll be right back out in Las Vegas the following year.
Well, I can't fault you for Puerto Rico at this time of year. I'm sure it's a great time to be there as well. But, you know, obviously you guys keep coming back year after year, and you came back this year with a bit of a younger squad. You graduated 5 senior all-conference starters from last year, and a much younger team and a different look for you guys.
Much different, and we've really been struggling to develop our identity. We still got to play the way that's been successful for us over the years and get up into people, trap them, and speed the game up. What's been happening, though, we've been giving up so many layups and such a high field goal percentage. Our field goal percentage defense was at about 49%, and if we're going to win any games, it just can't be that high. I look back last year when we went 23-5, and our field goal percentage defense was 39%. So if we're going to let people shoot 49%, we're not going to win too many games.
We were thinking about this game, the second game, the game against Carroll, one which Ramapo won 71-49. Thinking about it before the game and thinking that you guys may have seen a team the style of Carroll on occasion in the Atlantic and playing mid-Atlantic teams perhaps, but I wasn't sure that Carroll had seen a team that would play as aggressively and as up-tempo as you guys.
We were hoping that was the case because we felt that way a couple of times with teams from the Midwest. We came out here a couple years ago and played Stevens Point, fell behind, and really gave them pressure in the second half. And we were down, I think, about 18 points and cut it to 3, and they turned it over like 9 trips in a row. And then last year we were down the same thing to North Central and cut it to 4 with 4 minutes to go with pressure. So I don't think teams from the Midwest see that kind of pressure on a night-in and night-out basis. So it's one of the advantages that we do have. They usually have size and strength against us, but we usually have the quickness, and we got to try to force tempo and turn them over.
You know, the guys who you have leading your team this year and seeing just the difference in your team from game 1 to game 2, the loss to Bridgewater State, which you guys had the lead at halftime, and Bridgewater State came back and won that game. And then in game 2, you know, you guys got out to a big lead, shot really, really well, especially from 3-point range in the first half, and then, you know, kind of took the air out of the basketball in the second half.
Yeah, well, Terry Hicks and Jermaine Emanuel got to lead us. They're both seniors. Terry's a D2 transfer from Bloomfield College that went to the Final 8 when Terry was a starter and averaged 13 a game. So we count on Terry to be, you know, very good for us. Jermaine Emanuel was out here 2 years ago. Then he blew out his knee, sat out last year. He's coming back from 2 ACL tears. So he doesn't have the same quickness and mobility that he used to have. But we still need their leadership. We're going to go this year as far as both of those guys can take us.
I got to ask you about, you know, where the New Jersey Athletic Conference has gone in men's basketball over the course of the last 5 years or so. You still have to go back into the 2008 team, right? This 2008 season, which Richard Stockton made the final game. That's still the last time that an NJAC team has won an NCAA tournament game.
That's correct. One of the things that's hurt us, and this is what don't happen, like utilizing Wisconsin as an example, is we now have Division IIs and a lot of them in our area. And between the private schools being able to give the money that they're able to give and then the D2s being able to give full scholarships, we are losing, I would say at least every one of the teams in NJAC is losing 2 or 3 guys that would be starters, and now guys that used to be 6, 7, and 8 men are now starters. Our league has gotten really watered down. I would think that our league was one of the better leagues in the country going back. I would say to about 2005 was the last time that we were really powerful. When we went to the Sweet 16, even though Stockton went to the national championship, that's a rarity. And it's really hurt us, the private schools and the D2s. And like you take Wisconsin, there aren't any D2s. And kids that we can't get a 6'8", 6'9", 6'10" kid that those schools can get. If they fall through the cracks, very few Division I's out there. So now they fall down to Division IIIs, and they're strong and physical. They can get you easy buckets late in the game, and we don't always get that unless we can generate it off of pressure.
Yeah, we were talking during the game, and I know at one point in New Jersey Institute of Technology transitioned through Division II on its way to Division I, having been Division III, I think in the mid-90s, if I remember correctly. But there hadn't been a whole lot of Division IIs in New Jersey until recently.
That's exactly right. Caldwell was an NAIA.
Yep.
Bloomfield was NAIA, which is a power now in Division II. Felician was an NAIA. And then there's a ton of them in New York. You got Adelphi, Dowling, Queens, Concordia, Mercy, St. Thomas Aquinas. Pace. There's so many right now. And they're all coming into New Jersey and just taking our guys. So our league, which was once sending 3 and 4 teams to the NCAAs on a yearly basis, is lucky if we can even get a second team. And now we're struggling to win that first round game.
Well, now you guys, get back into conference play coming up. You have TCNJ coming up next Saturday, or I guess that's a week from today's Saturday, right? All days kind of run together. But you guys have already been through a couple games of conference play. Richard Stockton looks like they're strong right now. How does the rest of the NJAC look to you?
I think the conference is well balanced, and on the top side, if you were asking me right now, I would think Stockton, Patterson, Rutgers, Newark, and Jersey City are the class of the league. And then I think the 5th and 6th spot is going to be open between Kane, myself, Rowan, Montclair State, and Camden, and the rest of the league. And I think any one of those last 6 can get into the last 2 playoff spots.
Last question, and I'll let you go. I'm sure with so many young players, it's got to be kind of a frustrating experience. You had a lot of things to say to your team after the first game or during the first game against Bridgewater State, and then again coming out against the team you guys played here today in Carroll, you had much better success with them.
We had a long talk with them. Our season was headed in the wrong direction. They haven't bought in on a consistent basis. And if we're going to have any luck at all this year to even make the NJAC playoffs, our guys got to buy in. And you can see we put together a good half of basketball in the first half yesterday. And then in the second half, we fell apart. We fell apart out on Staten Island when we had a double-figure lead out there. So we've had our opportunities this year to win games. I think right now we're 5 and 6, but we could easily be 8 and 3 if we could put a whole game together based on what we have right now. So I think tonight was a start, and I think if we could continue making this commitment and the efforts there on a night in and night out basis in practicing games, I think then we can be decent going through the rest of the season.
It's Chuck McBreen, the Dean of Coaches here at the D3Hoops.com Classic. His Ramapo team 5 and 6 after splitting 2 games here.
Thanks, Pat.
All right, thanks.
Thank
Good
you,
to see you, man.
Have a great
All right, yep.